Hello guys, and welcome to Ride VIP, the Rideshare channel. My name is Serge. Normally in my videos I talk about rideshare, we talk about Uber, we talk about Lyft, different strategies that we use for making money, to making a little bit more money. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about that, but more I would like to talk about personal growth, not just for me but for you as well. I want to share with you guys some of the things that I'm working on, because while working rideshare is great to get some money, it's always a good idea to try to work on yourself. That way you could actually have some kind of side hustle besides Uber. Maybe you want to get yourself like a different career. Maybe that's going to be your opportunity. Or maybe you're somebody that's an entrepreneur and a content creator like myself. Then I think this video is going to be right for you. So let's begin. Recently I have talked about how I incurred, I guess, some credit card debt, but that was not because I went on a wild shopping spree. I call these more like investments, okay? Normally when I buy something, I have money to basically pay it off like right away, because I do not like to live on credit. This is why currently I don't have any kind of credit card debt. So recently I paid everything off. If you think that money came from rideshare, think again. They came from my other side hustles, and this is why I want to make this video today, to try to share with you guys some of the things that I'm working on to help me. Because oh my gosh, like I've looked at it, how much it was, and I calculated everything, and it was like over $6,000. That's that I spent in probably less than 2 months, which seems about normal, right, for a lot of people as far as their expenses goes. But since I don't have any house payments, since I don't have any like car payment, I always have money coming in from residual sources, which I do use. Spending that type of money on credit cards was either me going on a wild shopping spree, or I was working on something bigger. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. So what am I working on? So currently, very lightly, I just want to tell you guys, I'm working on building my used car parts business. At the same time, I want to build myself an automotive service type of business. And at the same time, grow my used car dealership business, okay? So maybe these things are of interest to you, maybe they're not, but this is what I'm doing for myself. These three things that I mentioned, it's kind of like one thing, okay? Because everything has to do with each other. So my used car parts business, of course, comes from the cars that I fix, and I have leftover parts, which then I could sell. On top of that, I buy cars specifically for the used car parts business, which we will talk about a little bit later on. But first I want to just give you kind of like a little rundown, kind of like what I'm working on. And of course I buy cars that I want to fix and flip, right? So I'm also buying cars that I can use the parts of those cars to fix the car that I want to flip. So it means I'm going to have parts left over, okay? And also, since I know how to fix cars and I'm buying cars that I can fix to make money, that also means that I could just have my own shop and work on other people's cars and make money that way, or work on my own cars in my own shop. Unfortunately, this shop idea has not came to fruition just yet. I'm close. I think by the end of the year I should be able to have something, because you know, like in my mind I think so positively, and I think that I'm already there, while there's all of these other little steps that you got to do in order to get yourself there. And what I mean by that is, like, I could see myself building a shop, right? But there's all of these other things I got to do before I start building a shop. For instance, something that I do think about, which is of course supplies, right? Some of the things that's harder to think about, like, is tools. Like, what kind of tools you're gonna need, right? You don't know until you get them, and then when you get in them, you end up getting some more to make your life a little easier. And what kind of tools am I getting? Like, I'm talking about like construction tools and mechanics tools, because depending on the kind of car that I work on, I need these type of tools. On top of that, there's scanners, like diagnostics scanner tools, and other service type of tools. There's just a lot that really takes place, and I'm not going to get into all that. So currently I'm listing and selling used car parts on eBay. I'm working on some cars to fix and flip, and from part of the success that I'm working on and also fixing some cars for other people, I was able to save up some money and pay off my credit cards, which is something that I recommend for everyone to do, is like stay out of debt, like because it's so easy to get into debt. Like it surprises me every time I do it. Like I do it for a couple reasons too, because partly it's a good idea to have good credit, and I do have good credit, and I just like to keep things going, right? To build more, because we need credit for like car insurance, for instance. If you got bad credit, your insurance is going to be very expensive. If you're trying to take this rideshare to the next level and you want to get commercial insurance and get all your proper licensing, you're going to need good credit to get a good price on commercial insurance, because commercial insurance is very expensive. Some of you guys commented in the past, which I have blocked those type of negative commenters from ever commenting on the videos again, even though like I really don't care, but it was a time waster to answer all the stupid questions and answer the negativity of those people. Like I'm thinking like, okay, I tried to be positive with them, but since they want to be so negative, I feel like, look, I don't want them to drag everyone else down, because this channel is all about self-growth, self-help, you know, like stuff that can help you in your life. Not negativity never helped anybody, you know. And in business, as you know, you gotta try different things, and sometimes you will fail, then you gotta try again, and you'll make mistakes, and that's fine. You just want to make sure that you correct those mistakes once you learn from them. And it's a good idea to be able to listen to the people that can actually provide you some good advice from what they're doing. But it's also a good idea to have a common sense, and before you start doing everything, don't just take any video like at face value. Do your own research. As they say, do your own due diligence, because we're all adults here, and figure out what works for you, and maybe this doesn't work for you, okay? With all that being said, having a good credit is like super important. Like you're judged because of your credit, like what kind of credit you have. And regular car insurance will sell you more expensive policies. Commercial insurance will sell you more expensive policies. If I want to open up a car dealership, which I recently passed a dealership certification course to open up my dealership, there is an insurance that I need, like, well, one of them is called the shop insurance, right? So it's a version of a commercial insurance, but it's for shops. It's a little bit different. And it's different than contractor's insurance. There's all these different insurances, right? So garage insurance is what you need to open up your car dealership license. But on top of that, you're gonna need a bond. And bond can be very expensive to get if you have bad insurance, you know, like bad credit history, because something like a bond, you're paying on it, right? And then but anyways, we're not going to get into that. That's just more like insurance talk. But what's important is to try to make sure your credit history is good, and in order to do that, you got to have some credit, you know, or you got to build credit, right? So that means you do have to use sometimes credit cards to pay maybe for your fuel, but take that cash that you got in the bank and go ahead and pay it off. And don't try to splurge on things that you don't need, even though it's difficult. And I'm by no means somebody that should even talk about that, because I make that mistake all the time. And I admit that that's a mistake, but sometimes we want something right away, and then we get it, we think we could pay for it. I know I could pay for it because I got all this income streams coming in, but when you're doing business, nothing's consistent. There's no constant. The only constant that we have is with this rideshare thing. Like, you know, you could leave, you could drive around, and you could make some money. And this is why I'm still doing it. So right now I'm trying to weigh out these plans, because I'm closer to my goal, like where I want to be. And I'm going back and forth as far as work goes. One thing that you guys don't know, which I will mention in this video, is I kept the Tesla for 2 weeks. Took a 1 week off, gave my business some time, made a little bit of money, a lot of money. Then I could have just continued, which I can't do that, but I'm thinking, okay, I'm a little tired, let me rest. Hold on a second. Okay, let's continue. One thing I love about the Samsung phone, I could just hit a pause and I don't have to re-edit the video, which is great. that's definitely like something good that Samsung did. I don't know why we don't have that on the iPhone. But anyways, with that being said, I just received a phone call. It's not that important, and I was able to quickly hit a pause and now continue this video. With that being said, I'm currently available for Uber, and I'm driving in my Tesla while being available for Uber. But let's continue. What I'm working on right now, guys, outside of Uber, it's a little bit physically straining, okay? When I'm doing like Uber, just driving around, it allows me to relax, because driving relaxes me, and I'm able to think about like the next things I want to do. And with that being said, I'm thinking about like, okay, I just rented a Tesla again, which was yesterday, and then I put out that one video. Now I got a black Tesla. So I'm thinking, I don't know how long should I rent it for, because I know that if I rent it for a week and give it back, I could just focus on my business, and that could be good. Like 1 week could be enough of a vacation, you know, from working really hard. I don't know if I should keep it for 2 weeks. So at this point, I don't know how long I'm gonna keep it. I could even keep it a month. I don't know. We will see. I'm gonna figure these things out, because there's so much that I'm working on, and obviously I can't do both. I cannot be doing Uber. I cannot be always working on my business while I'm, you know, like, because there's just a lot that I'm working on, guys, and it's just a little bit straining, just a little bit. But once I get those things done, it's gonna be a much nicer flow of things. Okay. Now you might be wondering, like, why am I saying, you know, it's like some of these things, and it's probably obvious, because I'm sure a lot of you guys, you're working Uber and you're looking at your pay, and I don't know how it has been for you guys, but my last 2 weeks, they were not great. I did the math, and I was making $9 an hour after the Tesla expense. So when I looked at all that, I actually made a video about it, which I decided not to post. But I'll say this, I did a calculation. I was making $9 an hour basically, and I'm thinking, like, this is not the best use of my time. I had enough break. Let's get back to business. I've taken a week and 1 day off from Ubering, did what I had to do, and now I'm back driving, because I also enjoy making these videos. I enjoy driving. I enjoy working for Uber. But one thing I do want to mention is Uber may not be around for a long time. I mean, we don't know. It might be, it might not be. There's other competition that's coming. Uber is not going to be the only one out there, because let's talk about how they say, if you could build a better mousetrap, right, then you could basically have like a better business or something. Somebody said something like that. So basically, Uber's a mousetrap, Lyft is another mousetrap, different version of it. They try to compete with each other, but who's got a better mousetrap, right? But then now there's other ones that's coming out there. What is like one of them, like iDrive or something, you know? I think that's going to be blowing up. I think they've started in Florida. They're probably going to be coming here. I downloaded their app. I haven't looked at their stuff, but hey, I'm willing to take a look at it, you know? There's also a bunch of others, but this iDrive type of rideshare app, I believe they allow the drivers to keep their first year's revenue, just keep it all, you know, which is kind of cool. And it's basically kind of like the idea that I had for the rideshare company, where like, I think you could even set your own rates, you know. It's like, wow, this is the ideas that I had. I actually recently recorded several videos like that, but I never really posted them. But this is exactly ideas that I have. So like, I'm thinking like, hey, I'm cool with it. Like, somebody who's already got that. So I hope it comes here to North Carolina or South Carolina, so that I could start working for them and checking it out, because we could potentially make a little bit more money. But getting back to Uber, because I did say I'm going to talk a little bit about rideshare, right? Making $9 an hour after expenses is not fun. And I can't really blame it on the rental either. I was staying pretty consistent, right? And after, like, the rental cost me $70 a day. Charging cost me about $10 a day. So $5 if I charge it once, $10 if I charge it twice. That's if I charge it at night. So it's not a huge problem, okay, with the rental. is it really going to, how should I say, change my life if I saved an additional 30 bucks and just drove a Prius that I own for cash? Probably not. That's just an extra $30 in my pocket. That's kind of like thinking small, because I could always stop doing rideshare and just do what I'm doing, and I'm gonna be already better off, right? But driving a Tesla, it's a different experience, guys. If you never rented one, definitely rent one, just so you could find out like what's the fuss all about, right? And then you will realize like, wow, like this is such an amazing car. Besides all the savings, just the safety on the things alone, like I'm driving an autopilot right now and I'm able to talk to you guys. I mean, I love that. Like, that is amazing. And there's all these other features that's just amazing. It just seems like a car designed for people by the people almost, you know? It's kind of like something that you want to use, something that just makes sense. To me, like, Teslas are amazing. Whether or not I will buy one very soon, I'm really emotional type of person, like when it comes to like making emotional decisions. I'm talking about, like, maybe that's the wrong word for it. But if I want to buy something, I just go ahead and buy it, okay? It takes a lot for me to basically hold back. And recently you've seen a lot of videos, me talking about the Tesla, which one I want to get, this and that. And while all that seems a little bit, probably you heard it before and it's probably already annoying, you know, think of it like this. Let's say buying any new car, let alone a Tesla, would be a big mistake. Let's just imagine that would be like a big mistake. That's something you should have never done, right? Would it be a good idea to just go ahead and buy it and not talk about it? Or would it be a good idea to talk about it, weigh all the options out? Maybe you look like an idiot, right? But ultimately, you get some advice along with your own. I think this update, it's even more responsive than before. Somebody was churning and the Tesla already like, wow, accident about to happen, you know. It applied brake, that wasn't me, which is kind of cool. But I've seen it. Like, I would not react like that just because I could see like the situation. But Tesla is keeping me safe once again, which is great. But anyways, I think it's a lot better to really think about everything. And maybe this seems like what is the word? Procrastination, right? But it's not procrastination. It's calculated decision making. So you're making a calculated decision. So you want to make sure that you make a calculated decision before you go ahead and buy something, make that investment. Is it something that's really going to be life-changing for you? Is this something you really need? And depending on your need, that's how you're supposed to make that decision. And like for me, I think about it like when I'm doing rideshare, I'm thinking about nothing but rideshare. Like pretty much, like I'm like, okay, I could save all this money if I drive all these miles. Boom, this makes sense. But when I think about my business, and I'm like, well, I will do very little driving. Any type of driving that I do, I could just do even like with my Range Rover, like, or my BMW X5, and be able to go anywhere. I don't even care if V8 is a lot of fuel. It's just not gonna really impact me that much. I could just go somewhere, like, and that's it. And I have no payment, and I got freedom. I think about it like that. But at the same time, I look at it like, well, even if I don't do rideshare, if I had a Tesla Performance, that would be very fun. I could have fun on the weekend. I could even go, like, let's say like drag racing or something, like I'm talking about like legally at some kind of track. Like, that could be a little bit fun. Maybe take it out to, like, I don't know, like some kind of whatever, like just hang out with some people that maybe like have Teslas, or just join a car club or whatever. That just would be interesting. It's kind of like you have bragging rights. Okay, you got performance 0 to 60 in 3.1 seconds, or that's for the Model 3, and 3.5 seconds for the Model Y, which 3.5 is amazing. A Hellcat accelerates at 3.7, just so you know, 0 to 60. So 3.5 is already faster than a Hellcat, you know. So that's something, I guess, exciting, right? Maybe. But like for me, I enjoy life. Like, I think life is also limited. Do you really want to save all your life, right? And your life could be over just like that, or you want to enjoy your life. And that is the balance that we all have to do. It's kind of like you don't want to overspend, you don't want to underspend, because you don't want to like not have a life because you're not getting all of these fun things, right? But at the same time, if you overextend yourself, you're not going to have a life, because that is kind of like having a slave mentality. Now you're just going to be like working away at some company, or maybe Uber, just to pay for those things. Maybe it's not going to be enough and they're going to pay less and less. It almost will feel like they know you're struggling and they pay you less intentionally, which I will explain. Yesterday, finally, I don't need the money. I was even thinking, like, I don't even know like why I rented a Tesla again. Besides, I miss it because I could just get my X5 on the road. But this is faster, right? I got to do a transmission service on X5, but this is faster. Just rent and just drive, just chill. But I started making really good money yesterday. I'm like thinking, like, wait a minute, like, how is this happening? And I recorded that video yesterday, so I think in that time that was really good money. Like, I'm basically making like $25 an hour, but almost $30 an hour. But before that, I was making under that, like between $19 and $23 an hour, until I started cherry picking. I was making 25, you know, slightly above. But yesterday I was not even cherry picking. I was just like going with the flow, whatever, you know. So I'm thinking, like, wow, it's when you really need the money, it's almost kind of like they want to pay you even less. But if you don't need the money, you get paid more, you know. And imagine you get all these bills, right? No, like, now you lost your job. Like, you could easily lose this Uber driving job. Like, one day I could wake up and it says you're deactivated, and then I'll be like thinking, like, okay, well, I got this Tesla payment. I could pay for it just from YouTube alone. And I know it's probably, I don't know, like, when I say that, hopefully you guys understand like what I'm talking about. I'm not just trying to be a smart aleck about it, right? I've been doing YouTube since 2015. Okay, like, this channel's brand new, so I've been getting paid from YouTube. I already got paid enough to just buy it for cash, but you know, obviously I use that cash for other things. Actually, investments. I bought all these different cars. That's what I used it for. Just taking the money, is bought a car. You know, that's what I've been doing. So technically, I'll be able to make a payment on it. Like, for me, it's no problem. But let's say I don't have that YouTube revenue coming in, and now I lost Uber. Well, now I have to look for a job, and I'll be thinking, like, well, what's next? Is it Postmates? Is it going to be Grubhub? Is it going to be DoorDash? Well, DoorDash, if you're going to try to apply there, might not even have any openings. I tried, didn't have anything. Amazon Flex didn't have anything available for me. I don't know about Grubhub or other stuff, or Postmates. Not sure if they're going to have any availabilities. But that's just going to be very similar income to Uber Eats anyways, right? But if you get kicked off the platform, kind of sucks, because when you get kicked off, you lose that income stream that you could have had immediately. Like, you need money today, you could go and make some money. I've learned to kind of rely on a little bit. If I didn't have it, I would have probably been better off, because I would not have to rely on Uber income. Instead, I would have gave my business 100% focus. But instead, I'm like, you know, it's not so bad. If I work longer hours, I could make, you know, $1,100 to $1,300 in 3 days on the weekend. But if I work a whole week and I work every day, I could probably make anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000, depending on how many hours I work, you know. So you look at it and you're like, well, things are not so bad. But when you calculate the time and your expense, then you look at it like, wait a minute, if I just had a job and I worked overtime, not only that I would have got paid from that job, but I would have got all that overtime. But then you think about it again, like, no, wait a minute. But Uber allows me to have freedom, and it allows me to sort of have like a small business, because this is a business, and you can write off every single mile. Therefore, you're not losing any taxes from your paycheck, At the end of the year, you write your miles off, and if you drove enough, you could write off all of your income pretty much, pay very little to no taxes at the end of the year. While being employed for that same amount or slightly more, you're paying higher taxes. You might get very little back to no taxes back, and you're not going to be better off, and plus you just lost your freedom, you know. So Uber still has this freedom factor. Like, I'm driving right now to the pickup, I'm able to make this video, I'm able to post a video, which makes me side income. On top of that, I'm able to take a little break, which that's what I've been doing too. I post eBay listings. I've been also working on that type of content, but I haven't started a YouTube channel for the eBay just yet. I've been doing eBay for a while though, like a long time. So it's more like automatic. YouTube's kind of like automatic. I just do it. And cars has always been something that I've been doing. But one of the things, guys, that I do differently is I try to completely stay out of debt, and because of that, I have slower growth. If I would have just like rented a shop, and I would have immediately had room to fix the cars and be able to get organized, and on top of that, to try to, you know, I would have made more money from sales and stuff, and also maybe I would have not made money. That's also a possibility, right? But instead, I choose to take the money I make here, take it and build something with it, like invest in myself. Because once I build all the stuff up, that means I have no monthly shop expense. I could stop my business at any given moment, take a day off, take a week off, take a month off if I wanted to. And I love that flexibility, guys. And this is why I think it's so important to be entrepreneurial and to be able to just work on things that you want to work on. If you have like a normal type of job, you're just kind of like, you're just not gonna have much fun, because that, for the most part, you probably don't have a job that you like, and it will feel like you're just like stuck. You're stuck at this job. You can't express your creativity. You can't do things that you want to do. You're probably excited about maybe doing something when you get home, but you don't feel like it because now you're tired from work. You know, I understand how you feel. It's the same thing like with Uber. Sometimes I think like, oh, well, I mean, today I did some stuff at home before I left, even though it's a Friday. Me and my kids were working on building shelves, and I built a jig for them that they could use to continue building, and they've been doing pretty good building stuff for me. But now I'm going to Uber, and I also took care of some business this morning and went to a restaurant, took my wife out and stuff, and now I'm going to work. So it feels like, okay, I could like have a normal sleep, go out with my wife, go to a restaurant, take care of some business, go home, take care of some other stuff. But ultimately, it means I got up today at 9 a.m. and I will not have, I guess, much energy left for Uber, because I don't know at what point I'm gonna call it quits, because there's only so much time in the day, there's only so much strength that you have, and you can't really do everything. This is why this year, I don't know how long it's gonna take, but I will try to make sure I have my, you know, at least like a very little shop together, not like the complete shop that I want, to make sure that I could stay organized and work on my own business and just keep it going. Because by next year, I plan to open up my own car dealership license. I've been already buying cars as public in North Carolina, but in South Carolina, you can't buy cars as public. You'll have to go to North Carolina auctions and buy cars there, and that's what I've been doing. And there's nothing illegal about that. It's just South Carolina, different rules. Even though there's less regulations for car dealers, you have to be a car dealer in order to go to buy cars from auctions. I don't know why. Car auctions, that is. But anyways, guys, hopefully this video didn't sound like repetitive, right? Hopefully maybe this was encouraging to some people. Maybe it was motivational to some people. Like, if that's not, I'm sorry, but the intention was to somewhat motivate you guys by sharing what I'm doing, because I don't have to really share these things. It's not going to really benefit me none. But my purpose is to try to talk about some things that I'm working on. Maybe this could help somebody with something. I could talk a little bit more in detail about some of these things that I'm working on. I just thought I'll give you guys this like broad idea. And I keep in mind that some of you guys are new viewers to my channel, so you know, I have to mention some things here and there, give you guys some highlights. But anyways, guys, thank you, and see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.